Wee. Wee. My name is M.A.M.Z and I make weird music. Today, I want to show you a playlist of Nepali songs that I have carefully curated to give you a brief introduction to the world of Nepali music. The world of Nepali music is rich and beautiful, and I would love to share that with all of you. Rather than choosing the most popular Nepali hits, I have rather opted to curate a much more personal playlist. If you are a Nepali watching my videos, you may not agree fully with my own list. However, tell me in the comments below what are some of the songs that you would put on your playlist. I have put the playlist in the description below so you can listen along. I think the songs are best heard with the context of the videos that I have chosen for it. Unfortunately, they are not the best quality of videos. However, if you want to find higher quality versions, it is available on the internet. I just chose the ones that best fit the narrative of my list. So let's head on into number 1. Naran Gopal, Kehi Meetho Baat Gara. If there is one artist that can be representative of Nepali music, it is the legend Naran Gopal. He has been given the name of Swar Samrat, which literally translates to the king of the voice. Even though today his music sounds old and traditional, during his heyday, the genre that he was in was actually considered modern music or Adhunik Sangeet. His music was an eclectic mix of several influences like Indian classical khayal singing, the aesthetics of Indian ghazal music, instrumentation, chords and harmonies of 60s Western music mixed in with romanticized Nepali poetry. He also often used odd time signatures and ragas that often deviate from regular diatonic major-minor harmonies. The particular video that I have chosen is of a live concert. The live concert video was very special to me personally during my childhood. I absolutely loved the whole concert. It is of a rather low quality, but I think it only adds to the charm of it. By the way, a little self-plug. I have done a more rock-oriented cover of that same song, so maybe later you should watch that as well. Put that in your watch later. Number 2, Aruna Lama, Pohor Sala Khusi. Now if Naran Gopal is the king, then we also have to talk about the queen, Aruna Lama. She was known as the Nightingale of the Hills because she was from my hometown, Darjeeling. She is probably one of the most revered musicians in the world of Nepali music. Her songs are almost considered sacred. Even though in the same genre of Adhunik music, she had a very unique singing style. Her voice was very soprano or even falsetto with a very strong grasp of melody. But she had very gentle yet complex articulations. It is very hard to describe. The only way I can describe it is calling it the Aruna Lama style of singing. This particular song that I chose, to me, is personally very sacred. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable doing a rock cover of it. I sadly couldn't find any live version or even an interesting video of it, so I just picked the one with the best audio quality. Anyways, go listen to it now. Number 3, Kunti Mtan, Banchan Kohi. The previous 2 songs had a very big influence of Indian music, but now I think it's time that I introduce you to the full authentic Nepali experience. Just like anywhere else in the world, the places where the Nepalis reside are a goldmine of folk music. And therein lies the problem with folk music, that it is very hard to generalize. Even small regions apart, the music can sound so very different. This particular example that I chose could be very roughly categorized as Purveli Bhaka, which simply translates to Eastern melody or Eastern style. The eastern part of Nepal shares its borders with Darjeeling, hence I am much more familiar with this sub-genre. I specially chose this particular video because it shows you a very wide gamut of traditional Darjeeling culture. You can see the landscape, the local people in our traditional costumes, the traditional dances, and most importantly, you can also see the traditional instruments like the madal, the murali, and the sarangi. Musically also, the song to me feels almost 99% authentic to the folk style. I can hear some faint synths, strings, and some other instruments in the background, but at the forefront is the unmistakable jhaure rhythm of the madal, and over it is the very authentic folk style singing of Kunti Mtan. We can also hear instrumental solos of the sarangi and the murali, so keep an ear out for it. Number 4. Nepatya Karnali. Nepatya are a band who have single-handedly brought out rural indigenous Nepali folk music out into the urban zeitgeist. At its heart is the lead singer and the driving force of the band, Amrit Gurung. I think it would be unfair to call Amrit just a musician. I think a much more deserving term for him would be that of a musicologist. Remember earlier when I said that I am only familiar with the music that is around me? Well, for Amrit, he has actually gone and lived in far-flung rural places of Nepal, sometimes even on foot. There, he has documented the lives, the culture, and the music of the local people there. I personally believe that he has done humanity a great service by giving a new life to these cultures, these songs, and these melodies. He brings these songs to his band, who are in fact a rock and roll band. And we, the listeners, are lucky enough to get a chance to listen to these songs which we otherwise would have never even gotten a chance to listen to. For the most part, he does in fact maintain the authenticity of these folk songs and only adds a very light touch of rock music to it. The song I've chosen for the list is called Sa Karnali. It is a song that he got in the Karnali region of western Nepal from a local resident. The music video was also shot there and shows a beautiful story where an old trader is showing off his prized possession of a necklace made of silver coins to the camera. The fact that Nepatya have gone the extra mile and given us the subtitles of the lyrics as well as a beautiful description on the YouTube video shows to me how much they care about preserving these stories. I hope that by sharing this with you, I have helped in taking his vision just a little step further. Number 5. The axe band Tharo Jani Ukkalo. Whereas in the Nepatya song, we saw the music being mostly folk music with just a light touch of rock music added, in the music of the axe, there is an equal proportion of rock and folk mixed in. The band are a power trio, which to me personally is the best format for a rock band. The grooves that the drums and bass lay always pack a punch. Over it, the guitarist often lays very minimal lines or rhythms that sit snugly over it. If you just heard this much, you would wrongfully think that there is no trace of folk music here. But then, the bass player steps up to the microphone. And by the way, all you bass players who also sing, you guys are seriously the coolest. There's nothing as cool as a singing bass player, period. So, he sings in a very folk style that seems almost contradictory to the bass lines he's laying down. Like, how is this even the same person? I just picked one of their most popular and their grooviest song for the playlist. Seriously, the Axe are hands down one of the coolest Nepali bands ever. Number 6. Mantra Sanskriti. Okay, so let's tip the folk to rock ratio even further. The band Mantra is a through and through hard rock band with a very slight touch of folk music. They are also from Darjeeling, and to many of us were the soundtracks of our lives. To me personally, the guitarist Aruna Lama was a childhood hero and probably my very first guitar hero. He was and still is the ultimate shredder. Before listening to him, I did not know that a guitar could sound like that. He still is a very active musician of the Darjeeling music scene and has been a great supporter for younger musicians like us. In the particular song that I chose, you will hear a proper hard rock song with no trace of folk music, that is right up until the flute solo. And then it all makes sense. The rhythm of the chorus had always been a jhaure rhythm but masked by a solid backbeat and chugging guitars. Even the lyrics talks about how we, the modern generation, may not dress like the traditional Nepalis or even play traditional folk instruments like the damphu and the madal, but in our hearts, we will always have a place for the culture and traditions, and the folk music will always be within us. Now, if any Nepali person is watching this, you are probably cursing me because we've reached number 6 and I still have not mentioned the most popular Nepali band of all time. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have organized this playlist according to the narrative that I've been following. Up until now, we have put a very strong emphasis on having a very folk or traditional aesthetic to the music. However, Nepali music expands much more beyond just the traditional sound. There exists all kinds of Nepali music in their own circles and movements. And there is one band that actually does it all. Number 7, 1974 AD, Pinjarako Suga. If you could only listen to one Nepali artist for your whole life, then 1974 AD would be perfect for it. They have songs in all different genres. From heavy rock, to traditional folk, to blues, to love ballads, to songs of rebellion, to songs of peace, to jazz fusion, to prog fusion, and probably fusions of everything in between. Like seriously, I could just fill this whole list with songs by 1974 AD. Maybe I should do that video. Let me know if you guys want to see a video of my favorite 1974 AD songs. Besides Naran Gopal, I would say that 1974 AD is the one band that truly represents Nepali culture in all its different shapes and sounds. Whatever song I would have picked of them would not have been properly representative of them, as every other song is different. So, I just picked what was my favorite when I was little. Of course, I was interested in hard and heavy rock, but I was also very much interested in literature and poetry. This particular song that I chose is a very hard-hitting rock song played in the most evil key of them all, E minor, complete with a very black and dark music video. But at the same time, the lyrics are a few verses from a very powerful poetry called Pinjarako Suga. It is an epic poem written in 1917 by one of the greatest Nepali poets, Leknath Paudel. The poem is from the perspective of a parrot trapped in a bird cage. However, upon deeper inspection, we find that it in fact is an allegory talking about the political and social conditions of the common Nepali man in the early 20th century. I found a translation of the original poem that definitely captures the emotion of the original poetry. So I would encourage you to read that as well. Of course, if you are a Nepali, then you should read the original, which is just epic. Links below if I don't forget. So now, I would like to dig deeper into other genres. There are two subgenres that I want to highlight that I believe in the world of Nepali music are thriving really well. They are relatively underground and very niche. I am not too familiar with either of these, but they are praised from all across the world. Hence, I will show a song of each one to you. Number 8, X Mantra Makurako Jalo. The first thriving underground scene of Nepali music is of extreme metal. Darjeeling itself has a ton of really good bands. One of them being my own brother's band, Obliterating Vortex. Since I am not too familiar with the scene, I thought I will show you a classic. X Mantra was probably my first exposure to extreme metal. This particular song is a very hard-hitting thrash metal song. Before this, I had not heard a song that was as intense and as heavy and as hard-hitting as this. The chugging guitars, the banging drums, and the searing, screaming vocals over all of it, that was something very new to me. The lyrics of this song is also very beautiful. It talks about how a spider never gives up on spinning its web despite falling and failing several times. The other thriving scene in Nepali music that I want to talk about is of Nepali hip-hop, or better known as Nep-hop. Number 9, Yamama Buddha Yo Prasanga. The Nep-hop scene was single-handedly raised to a stature that it is today by Yamama Buddha. There did exist a little bit of mainstream hip-hop before YB, but when he arrived, his songs were at a whole other level. His rapping was meticulous, his rhymes were spitting fire, but most importantly, his lyrics were of a very important nature, talking about the social lives of the common Nepali man. A song dedicated to his mother, a song about how he misses a friend who passed away, and so many other such beautiful songs that feel very personal but also very relatable. After he started becoming popular in the Nepali music scene, he started mentoring younger hip-hop and rap artists to build a future for the Nep-hop scene who are today thriving. The particular song that I chose, I personally think is one of his strongest songs ever. It confronts a very serious issue in the Nepali society of human trafficking. He presents it in the form of a simple story. Just like Nepatya above, YB has also provided subtitles for the lyrics of the song. So I will not spoil the story too much for you. I'll just say that this song has a very important message and probably deserves a spot as one of the boldest and most important songs in the history of not just Nep-hop but the whole of Nepali music. Number 10, Jerusa Sunsan. Okay, this one is a personal favorite of mine. I discovered Jerusa's music a few years ago. I saw a video of her performing live an old Nepali classic. In that video, something about her just appealed to me. The very aloof nature of her singing and guitar playing made me want to find more music of hers. Eventually, I found her 2 albums, A Dark Place to Think and Sunsan. The second album especially connected to me very deeply. I felt like I personally understood what she was talking about, even though the direct references were not there. To describe her music is kinda hard, to be honest. At its core, her music definitely has a singer-songwriter vibe to it. But sonically, there are influences of folk music, electronic music, lo-fi hip-hop instrumental music, indie music, avant-garde, and probably a lot more. I remember in one interview, she has described her music being akin to folktronica. One thing I can say with definite certainty is that her music is very minimal. It also has a definite vibe of a bedroom producer, which I personally am a fan of and myself am. Jerusa was also a very vocal social activist fighting for the poor and the underprivileged. This particular song I chose is one of my favorites. It is so very minimal. It only has a kalimba, some soundscapes and a few layers of vocals over it. Go listen to it before I do the outro. Okay, that was it. That was 10 Nepali songs that I think you should listen to. It gives you an overarching picture of what Nepali music is like. Of course, it is only scratching the surface and was also from my own personal perspective. If you find yourself drawn to any of these artists, I highly encourage you to dig deeper into their catalog. This is a very new type of video that I am foraying into and I think I enjoy it. I may do more of these list type videos in other different genres as well. So if you want more of that, then you should subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what other types of music would you like me to cover in the future. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a like and turn on notifications as well. And always remember to stay untuned. Okay, bye.